Cause it's got me. I see all the different cameras, but
Yeah.
it's got me in the eyeballs
Hold on, I
all
got it, Shawty. I'm about to, let's see. I hope that's the right one.
and you can't see me at all.
Hold on, why I don't see you? There you go. Okay, so that's you.
So okay, I got. I don't know.
Hold on, yeah, I know it's two of you. We about to work it out, Shawty. I'm working it out.
Okay,
Not
okay.
done.
So hold on, let me put it. Let me put it up. Let me set it up on something so I don't have to hold it. Hold on.
No,
And how are you?
here we go. That's what I'm gonna do then. I'm just gonna dang. Yeah, I don't want you on that 14 times, Shawty.
What you
I
say?
said I don't think I want you on that 14 times. Let me see.
I can't even hear you. What you say? So do you want me to like drop and
No,
then try to do it
you
again?
good. Nope. I'm about to work this out in front of the people. Blood. Right, straight like that. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Now I'm gonna fix it. Hold on, we got it going. Now, I'm gonna trash one of these. Yes. Blim. Now just one of you. You good. You good? Do you hear that music playing?
I do not.
Okay, good. So, alright. Well, I guess we
Let me turn
live.
my mic. Well, my volume is all the way up. Okay.
Okay. I appreciate you doing this. I need to move this a little bit. I wasn't quite ready.
Oh, no problem
But I
at
heard you
all.
talking. Okay, so I got my do-rag on. I'm still doing bad. I forgot. I'm sorry, people. I know y'all.
And it is
Oh,
so
okay.
low. I can't
I
even hear
appreciate you,
you. I
family. I
can't hear
actually.
you well.
Did you say you can barely hear me?
Okay, I can hear you better now.
Okay, so yeah, give me a second. I see you, family.
Okay,
This
okay.
is a new setup, so y'all be patient with me. As you can tell, I'm trying to make this thing look a little professional, like I got something going on. So I do see the chat, but if I miss the chat, please be patient with me. You see, we're trying to figure this out. Okay, hold on. All right, so this might be a little better. Move this over. Okay, so now I can look at you. All right, you ready?
I am.
All right. Okay. So let me move my little keyboard right quick because we about to get started. And I think I'll let you choose. I got a couple of new pendulums, and I think I'll let you choose. I got a royal blue one, and I got amethyst for you. And then I still got my original onyx. So
I
which
like the
one?
second one. We'll go with the second one.
The amethyst. All right.
Yeah.
That's what we'll do. So I appreciate everybody joining me. Like I said, this is a new setup. I'm trying something a little different. So be patient with me. I do want this to be successful. And tonight, I appreciate our guest. She probably has the most courage out of everyone right now because she's going to do the whole thing. So I know she is. Could you take a little time to tell us who you are?
I am Cat Glover. Um, I have known this young man on the other side for about a long
Okay,
time, you
now
know what I'm saying?
don't put my business out there in the street now. Hold
Mm-mm.
on. Nah,
That's their
I
family.
know that's right. You
That's
heard.
different you, you
Hey, you
know what
know
I'm
what? I
saying?
knew it was gonna be some point where I need to do this, and this is. I hope when people watch this, This is for all the Rams. Because I always sing this song when I see another Ram. I've been a Ram all my life, and I'll be a Ram till I die. You heard? You heard? I know that's right. You heard? That's for the Rams out there. You heard? Okay. So, and you are, because, I actually do people from all over, and you are in what state? You don't have to give us exact location, because I hate for you, you know what I mean?
I'm in North Carolina.
Woohoo! Me too. Congratulations. Congratulations. Such a great place to be. And the funny true story is they do say the Southeast offers the best of living for black people, so I guess we are lucky to be living in the Southeast because it offers the best of living for black people. I don't know how true that is, but that's what they say. All right. So I can tell you're a little nervous, even though you're not saying much now because we connected earlier, and I can tell I'm rambling on. So this is how you really feel instead of you not saying anything. So okay. You say that now. I am, but you see now. See, normally I don't ramble, but you got me rambling, so I know that's how you really feel. You're a little anxious. It's all good. I am too, and a little skeptical, but we're gonna find out some things. Okay, so the next question is, what made you want to do this live? All 7 of them at that.
Well, so I was a little skeptical. I was watching you doing your little reading things, and I was like, dang, so you think he a psychic now? He Mr. Cleveland or something? That's why I joined originally.
Oh, you trying to see if I was about to be out here telling the future?
Hey, I was like, I know Mr. Peanut. I know.
Right. You know you. Yeah. No, girl, child.
When I joined, and the first thing that you said was like, I'm not predicting no future or nothing.
You hear me? I'm not gonna be able to tell you if you need to marry Tyrone or quit your job. You gotta figure that out on your own. Shoot, you ask me, I'm gonna be like, quit. You hear me? Hey, all I'm gonna do is tell you, rub your feet in some grass, some normal stuff. Like, okay, I don't walk outside barefoot. No, I don't know about Tyrone. I don't know about your job. I don't know what you need to do next. That's all you going to figure out. You alright? Alright, so I wanted to give you a little information before we got started, but you want to go into this clear vision, nothing jaded, so you don't know anything. So I'm gonna just take you on this process, and I'm gonna guide you in the way that I go myself. Welcome everybody for joining. I can see you a little bit. I see you, Quint. Okay, I see a couple people joining. I appreciate you. I'm getting used to this. I get caught up in the people. I'm definitely gonna have to get a bigger screen because I can't see them. All right. So I'm gonna take you through this process. I'm gonna probably try to be as gentle as I can and as respectful for your feelings and your vulnerability as I can be. Normally when I do this, since you don't know anything, I just call them energy points, and there's 7 of them. And it starts from your feet and it goes to the top of your head. Generally when I do it, I start from the crown, and that's pretty much the energy that radiates right around you, right? And when I read this for you, it's going to tell you if you're overthinking, pretty much. You know what I mean? And then some is like sometimes if you're having some physical pains, I'll be able to ask you if you're having headaches or anything like that. So when I go through it, I always start with 7 and go down to 1, which is feet, the root. So I'm going to take you through my process like that. We're going to start with number 7, okay? You got any questions before we get started?
No questions. Let's roll with it.
All right. So pretty much, I'm going to take this pendulum. I'm going to hold it. know what? Never mind. I can't even say her name. She'll start listening. But so it's gonna spin, or it's not gonna spin. So if you're thinking too much, it might spin fast. When they did mine, like I said in the last live, I thought it was fake because that thing was spinning like that. So I was like, oh no, this can't be real. But after they raked me and I purged some stuff, it actually spun normal. Or if you watch some of the live, it won't spin at all, and that means it's closed off. So you may not be thinking enough, or it might spin a little bit. So I'll be able to tell just by how it spins, and you'll be able to see by how it spins. And then I'll just go through some list of things and feel like whatever's speaking to me, and I ask you if it relates to you any, and we'll go from there. All right? Okay. So we're gonna start with your crown. Make sure you can see it. So you're using it, and you're probably using it pretty good. So it has a nice little spin. It could probably have a little more force. So yeah, I feel like real serious. Before I even read these words, I feel like you're at a place in your life where you're trying not to worry about so many things, and you know what I mean, and you're trying to do some more things for yourself. So actually, based on your energy, that's a good idea. You know what I mean? So some of the things that I actually.
It's so hard not to worry. It's so hard not to.
Oh yeah, that now listen. No one said it was going to be an easy thing. You know what I mean? Worry is an everyday battle. You know what I mean? As a matter of fact, I have a sign that I want to put on the wall, and it is it's just a very simple statement that says, "Just for today, I will let go of worry, and one day at a time." You'd be amazed how simple that statement is, but you say that stuff to yourself right when you about to worry, and that one day, you just take it one day at a time. It does help a little bit. Some of the good things going on. You pretty much aware of your individuality. You still a little compassionate, which is good. You feel connected to something, and I think you're in that process of figuring out what that something means to you. You know what I mean? So I guess that's one of the reasons. And as a matter of fact, I think you actually are working on your joy. You're actively finding the things that bring you joy and provide joy for you. And ironically, it's probably reconnecting to some of the things that you used to do. You know what I mean? It's the funny thing about this process of joy is how much of reconnecting to your younger self that you wind up really doing. You know what I mean? And I think you're taking that on pretty good, head on, strong. You know, hey, yeah, as a matter of fact, your crime is doing good, so you should be happy. Right, I know you was a little worried, right? Yeah, I know. See, you came in worried, but nope, I gave you some tools. Your crown. Hey, right, you hear me? Yeah, one day, okay, so if it, like, it really, and for me to explain, like, what I feel on my side, it's just intuition, you know what I mean? So, instead where most people question their feelings and their intuition, I've just learned not to, you know what I mean? And if you allow me to connect to you, I'm not going to second guess my intuition. So if I say something that you necessarily don't connect to, I'm not going to argue with you. That's something to work out with you and your energy on your own time. You know what I mean? But
it's just me knowing myself and being a little skeptical of, the whole situation.
Of course.
So when you're ready to be my card, I'm going to go like, until you hit it to me.
Listen, that's exactly why I told you I think you should come into this with a healthy dose of skepticism. You know what I mean? And most of the people's readings that I do, they do too. Whether they say it or not, you know what I mean? They come in there until I hit that one point that you think that, okay, well, where did that come from? And I know it's okay because I did the same thing. I told you when she read my first thing, that thing was swinging like that. I thought she was doing it. You know, I'm like, oh, she out here swinging it myself. I did not believe it until I went through the whole process. I was like, okay, it's something to it. You know what I mean? And then there are
I was watching
people.
on the first live when you was doing it. I was trying to see if your hand was moving or not. I said,
Girl,
I don't see your
okay,
hand
so I'm gonna
moving.
tell
So
you
it might be like your
real
energy
talk.
too.
Okay, so this how I'm gonna help you with your skepticism on that. I looked it up because I didn't trust it either. I was like, hold on now, they got to be shaking it or something like that. But dead serious. The only thing, the tip of this is like a bead, like a hair bead. It's hard, it's solid. You know what I mean? And the only thing that you might do is they tell you to squeeze the ball. You know what I mean? So that's to make sure you focus the energy and stuff like that. But you don't really like, okay, so if I got a little tremble in my arm, you're going to see that. It ain't going to shake right. I'm like, okay, you're going to see that. But other than that, it's just, I promise you, I had to do the research. So I was like, okay, so she's not shaking. She just squeezing the ball. Like they said, like I looked it up myself. So that skepticism is healthy. I promise. See, as a matter of fact, it showed in your crown. I said you're using it correctly, right? Healthy skepticism. There we go. So the proof is in the pudding right there, yeah? Right.
Hey, confirmation everywhere.
You know? Okay. Okay. So that means you've been definitely doing some work, so you should be proud of yourself. The next one that we have is your brow. They call it your brow chakra or your brow energy point. And for the most part, it is your third eye, as some people call it, or how I just refer to it as your intuition. You know what I mean? So, reading this, I'm going to be able to assess if you are actually utilizing your intuition too much, not enough. If it's off, you're second guessing it, things like that. And then, like I told you, each one of these energy points do connect to parts of your body. So depending on this, I can know if you having some sinus problems because it works on the nose and the ears and the eyes and stuff like that. But right now, we just like to work on if it comes up, I'll tell you. You know what I mean? So I'll tell you whatever comes up. Do you have any questions about that?
No, no,
Okay.
actually, I don't. I don't.
Okay. Here we go. We're gonna see how you doing with your intuition.
Okay.
All right. You see the difference yourself, right? So that would be you seen it trying to spin, but you seen the difference compared to your crown and your intuition because that crown swung. You saw it spin.
Yeah.
That intuition was like, I don't know about it, right?
Yeah, because I'm an overthinker. So when you're
Okay.
an overthinker, you don't know if it's like your intuition telling you or your mind, because you be like creating like a million scenarios.
See,
So I agree. I
and
agree.
that's the thing about intuition too. I'm always hesitant to say use your intuition and stuff like that because intuition is really based on your energy. If you balanced in other areas, so if you off, your intuition is really gonna be off a little bit, or you might be utilizing it wrong. Let me correct that. You will be utilizing your intuition wrong, because the intuition ain't never wrong, but you can misuse it very much so. You know what I mean? So okay, as I think about your intuition, worrying does come out. You got some going on with you living in a fantasy world. So yeah, you do got some fantasy stuff going on with you. You struggling to see the bigger picture. Um, you got a little doubt going on. And I keep looking at loss, so you got some feelings of loss. You know what I mean? And I think some of those things are kind of hard to see because you still charismatic. So people may not be able to tell this as they are around you or interacting with you because your charisma is still very good. And as you said, you know your intuition is talking to you, so you still are intuitive. But because you're worrying so much, because you're having feelings of loss, because you're dealing with this fantasy world, and and the self doubt is
So I'm gonna throw on my shades for this one, cause I told you about this already.
did you which one you put on? The not that which one you got? There we go. Let's do it now.
I
Okay.
think it comes to as far as the fantasy, it's like, you work so hard and you want things to be so perfect, because you have in your mind this idea of perfect in your mind as far as like how things should be going. So like when things don't go that way, you know what I'm saying? It gets to, throwing things out of whack. So I think that comes to the fantasy because it's like, you want it so bad, but it's like life be life.
Yeah.
So no matter how bad you want this, what it is that you want, it's like things be coming and you still have to like kind of keep on moving regardless of what your mind is like, this is what I want and this is the goal. But like, so I agree with that. I agree with that.
So, as a matter of fact, I'm glad you said that because that was definitely the one I wanted to talk to you about. And that's exactly what I was feeling. In the sense that your fantasy world is what you want, what you think it should be. And I really want to dig a little deeper on what you think this fantasy should be because your fantasy is going to be shaped around some of your whys, and your whys are going to be shaped around some of your experiences. So, what is this fantasy that you are trying to have? Like honestly, like what is this fantasy that you are trying to have? First question, and then also,
Well,
is this fantasy allowing you to avoid realities?
yeah, because it's actually unrealistic because the people that are close to me kind of remind me of how unrealistic it is. But in my mind, I still think it's logical. You know what I'm saying?
What is the fantasy?
So, in my mind, the perfect would be, the perfect balance of the kids being great, being able to work and make the money that I need, and still be the mother that I need. Also, the kids being good and getting all the things they need mentally, physically, emotionally, and me still being able to do the things that I need. So it's just like a perfect balance, and you
Right.
want, all your kids to be perfect and come out great, and you know what I'm saying? And it's not always like that,
Okay.
so you have this unrealistic thing of like, oh, okay, well, yeah, I would love for things to be like this because this is the way that I've imagined them in my head. But since life is lifing and it's giving me all these curveballs, I just don't know what to do with them because it's like not what I've imagined. So it's like, I don't know. I don't
Okay.
know.
So let me ask you a question because you said this word like 14 times. And and the thing about it is, I'm curious because you also said that you had the understanding that life doesn't really work like this. But why do you carry this burden of perfection? Like, why do you feel like things have to be perfect?
Well, I don't think it's necessarily perfect as a sense, but it's like perfect for me.
Yeah, that
So like me not worrying, making the money I need, being able to get these kids good, and they have all the things they need, and my perfect may not be somebody else's perfect. You
true
know what I'm
indeed,
saying?
true indeed.
So I strive for things that maybe others don't, but that's just my perfect.
Right.
Me
So
being good, my
so
kids being good, like
okay. So Why do you carry that burden of perfection? Your ideal perfection, because you know perfection is impossible. And one of the
Yeah.
reasons this perfection that you're trying to get is impossible is because you have to interact with other people. And the only thing that you can control is yourself. You hear me? So I'm trying to, what I want to try to work with you on is to figure out the whys you carry this burden of perfection. Is it something, is there something, okay, so parents carry this burden of protection over their children. Is there something you're trying to protect your family, something? Is there something you're trying to avoid and you feel like this idea of perfection is the only way to avoid that?
No, I think it's more of not necessarily having the most amazing upbringing. So, like, you want to do so much more for your children. You fat. So it makes it like almost an impossible task to do that because it's like you're always trying to because it's like you're fighting what you went through and you don't want to bring that to your children. You want them to have so much more and so much better than you've had. So it's like you're always fighting. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
Well, you know what's funny? I think about, as you say this, I agree. As the next generation, one of our jobs is to do better than the last generation, right? But I think sometimes how we fail ourselves is setting the goal too high. You know what I mean? And we can have, coming from my background, education is these things called SMART goals, small, obtainable, measurable. You know what I mean? Things like that. So you can create you can make a small difference, and that can be the difference that starts a ripple effect that changes the life. And I'm telling you this, it's funny because this is a comedian I love, Bill Burr. He used to write on Dave Chappelle, and he had this story on one of his comedies, and he was talking about his mom never really hugged him when he was growing up. And when he got older, he asked her about it. She was like, well, I didn't want you guys to turn out funny. And he knew his mom, so he was like, I don't believe that. So I think you're lying. And she was like, well, okay, your father didn't want you guys to turn out that way. And the crowd was kind of shocked, like, whoa. And he stood up for his father. He said, you got to remember, this is a man that never talks about his childhood, never talks about what he's experienced, none of the things he's done. So for him, his thing, that the best thing that he can do that was better than his childhood was to protect his children from that. You know what I mean? So I tell you
that's
this.
real. I relate to that because, no shade. My mom, okay, so me and my dad always had a relationship, my mom and my sister. And so when my dad died, I was like 21. We were like this, had to build a relationship with my mom. So later on in life, I had to tell her, like, yo, you had never told me nothing. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like, and I'm grown, tell her this. After that, all the time. So because of that, I always tell my kids I love them. No matter what, all the time, just, you know what I'm saying? Because I had how it made me feel growing up and not hearing that, knowing that, like, that's what my mom and my daddy told me all the time. You know what I'm saying? And my mom gave me birth, you know what I'm saying? But it's like breaking the generational stuff. It knows that, like, my mom, her mom died when she was like 3.
Right.
So she didn't know how to be a mom. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So I was blaming her for something that I didn't know she was hurt because of. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? She didn't know how to give me the things that I needed because she didn't know. You know what I'm saying? So because that,
And you a parent now too, so you know firsthand how much of parenting is learning. There is no handbook. There is no manual. Hello? Okay. You there? Uh-oh. Hold on. Like we having little internet problems. Give me a second, people. No, it must be mine. God dang it. Give me a second. Let's see.
Hey,
Now here you in there. So let me make sure I show you.
I can't hear you. I can't hear you go down.
Hold on, you can't hear me at all?
Now I can. Now I
Okay.
can.
Here we go. Let me show you on stream.
I was just saying, it's like you whispering.
Okay. I'm getting it together slowly but surely. Okay, we're back
Okay.
in business. Right? I appreciate your patience. You know technology. Technology said we just need a quick break. Let me see if we still rolling back on Facebook, maybe. Uh-oh.
You was breaking some stuff. You done broke the whole internet.
Right.
You broke everything.
That was you. Lord have mercy. Okay, we back. I'm sorry. Thank you for your patience. You know how technology do. It's so embarrassing. And I see y'all laughing at me. I know you heard me back here sounding like a granddaddy. I'm like, God darn it. I appreciate y'all trying to hang in with me. God bless. I was supposed to have some music they could play, but whenever I try to do it, it don't. See, yeah, that music don't work, so I don't get it. All right. Thanks for the intermission. Now, I was about to ask you a question. The question was, yeah, it's a simple one. Well, I'm going to ask you a lot of simple questions. The answers may be complex, so give yourself patience if you struggle to answer anything, but this one's going to be easy. So imagine, as we shared that story, did you see that? I'm about to leave it for there. So as we share that story, and you said the one thing that you did different from your childhood was to be able to tell your children, I love you. If you can't do any of the other things in your ideal perfection, do you think that one thing is enough to make a difference in the childhood that they have and the life that they live in this world, knowing that someone out there loves them? Now that does not mean it's gonna change the experiences or the behaviors, because they make their own choices. So do not confuse the two. I heard that pause. No. Remember, you don't have no control over their choices. Yes. Excuse me.
Yes, because for me, it was something I needed to hear. You know what I'm saying? I needed to hear.
Valid story.
So I'll say yes on that end.
So with that, you still gonna have battle with perfection, because as a parent, you're gonna want to give your children everything you couldn't have. But give yourself grace in knowing that you gave them something you didn't have. You know what I mean? And that's what's gonna make the difference. For real, for real. And you set some grace on that. Right? Right. Oh man. Okay, so now we're on your throat chakra. And of course that's gonna tell me if you're talking too much or not enough. Or at least if you're talking about the right thing. That's exactly what we're about to see. We're gonna see what the stone says. Yeah, all that John Jack. You really embarrassing me on this live, man. I ain't saying John Jackson in so long. God bless America. Do you hear me? Do you hear me? Hey, thanks for bringing that back, because somebody about to be mad at me tomorrow. You hear me? Jesus Christ. Oh, God. So, of course, well, like I was saying, the throat chakra's in your throat. And, so like I said, I'll tell you if you're talking too much, not enough, and things like that. And then if something comes up about you having it also is over your thyroid, your nose, your throat, your mouth. So if I get any vibes from that too, I'll tell you if you got some pains going on. But yeah, I'm interested to see how much you're talking on, what you're talking about. You ready? You got any questions before we go? Yeah, now you ready? Let's get through. Let's get through this stone. Get that stone spinning. All right. Okay. Here we go. Okay. So it's trying to spin, but it's not even able to spin in a circle. It's like doing this half circle diagonal line thing. So I know you all having some issues with your throat chakra, period. And I bet you kind of thought that you weren't, because you talk a lot. Okay. I feel like you have some issues as being seen as criticizing. Um,
Agreed. I
you
agree with
have
that.
some. You got some issues with speaking too much. As you do.
Agree with
As
that
you
as well.
do.
Agree with that as well.
And as a matter of fact, what's funny, I was getting ready to say you having issues with stubborn, and actually your issues with stubborn it revolves around with your issues of speaking too much. You know you speaking too much, and you still doing it anyway. So you just being stubborn. You know it's the fact. So
I
um,
think it goes back to like going through so much and you go like a lot of times with not speaking your mind. So then you just are like, you know what? Here you go. Just let it
yeah.
go. And it's hanging it on a platter. So yeah, I agree with that. And sometimes I shouldn't, but I do. And sometimes people know that that's me, so they appoint me to be the advocate to do it because they know that that's what I do. So yeah, I agree.
So basically, you let people use you for things that they won't
I
even
don't
do
want
for
to say that. I'm gonna say,
themselves.
okay. So for example, so like in the group home setting where I work or whatever. So like without non-disclosure, whatever.
Yeah.
A lot of times, people misuse people or whatever. So like they use me as their voice. Like, well, I talked to Kat about this, and she said that, da 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 da. So as far as that end, but not like no craziness. But it's just like they know that I'll speak up, and I don't care about your feelings. If right is right, wrong is wrong, and so that's me, and I'm gonna stand on that. So regardless of what it is or where I'm at, and how it may shoot me in the butt later on,
Hmm.
I just try to speak my truth. So yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So now I'm going to ask you this question again because you responded very quickly. You allow people to use you for things that they wouldn't do for themselves.
Well, no, no, but in the word sense, yes, because they cannot. You know
Okay.
what I'm saying? So I
So,
get it
so,
there,
so,
but other than that
pause,
setting,
pause,
no.
no, pause. That's not the only setting. You've been vocal for a lot of people in a lot of situations. And one of the reasons why I keep on specifically saying use you is so you can add a new perspective. Because we're on there doing an energy reading. And one thing about energy is it's not infinite. So people will, when you do those things, do you feel does your energy feel depleted any? Do you feel empowered? Now, you may feel good about what you've done, but I'm talking specifically about your energy, not your feelings. How do you feel after you've done that? You feel like you've
Okay,
expended
well,
some
I'll
energy.
say in a job setting, I feel better because I feel like I'm being a voice for them.
Right.
But in another setting, as far as like real life, I mean, just depending. I guess it just depends on the situation. Sometimes I feel okay about it, but sometimes then I'll go question myself after, like, man, I maybe shouldn't have said that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But yeah,
So aside from your
I'm
feelings,
wrong
like
sometimes.
the,
I would give it that. I'm wrong sometimes.
not necessarily, this is not about right or wrong. It's about
No, it
energy.
is for me because I
Uh,
told you, it's a personal thing. You know what I'm saying? So
right,
I get it.
but the thing about this is, I'm not gonna let you be that hard on yourself. You know what I mean? Because you got to give the first person you got to give grace to is yourself. You know what I mean? So you are learning, you making choices, you add new tools to your repertoire. You getting better. So it's not necessarily a right or wrong. You know what I mean? We apply those feelings and emotions to those things, but what it really is just an is. It just is. And I could ask you this because I could say even in a work environment, I've supervised in my life probably too many people. You know what I mean? I've probably been able to be in front of at least 100,000, majority women. You know what I mean? Because I work in education, And several times I've been in a position like you where I stand up for people. And standing up for people does allow you to feel emotionally good. But the fact of the matter is, every time you do things like that, you still wind up energy drained. And you need to find something to charge yourself up. And that's one of the reasons why you'll have feelings of feeling wrong and things like that, because it depletes your energy a little bit. And one thing you want to do is be aware of where you're losing your energy randomly. You know what I mean? Because that's the energy you're going to need to put into yourself to better yourself. Think of your energy like a pie. You only got 8 pieces. If you just letting people take a bite out of it and a bite out of it and a bite out of it, how you going to have the 3 pieces you need for yourself?
And then sometimes that comes when you have a good heart, and you know, it's like you just be so open and like you be like, oh, okay, well, I'm gonna do this for family, or I'm gonna do this for a
Right.
friend, or I'm gonna do this, and it's like you give so much, and then you realize like, well, dang, who me when I need somebody to be here for me.
See?
And then you kind of wake up,
But
yeah.
again, that's going to show up later because that's a boundary issue. And you probably wind up feeling guilty for enforcing your boundaries, but it's okay to say no too. But we'll get there because we have that intuition now. I know that's going to show up. Yeah, I know it's going to show up. Yes, I know you feel guilty for enforcing your boundaries. So, but I don't know where that one's going to show up. We talked about it. Let me see. Yeah, I think you all. Yeah, you're not afraid to speak. And I keep going back to this timid, independent. And I don't know, I'm not timid and dependent.
Like, you gotta speak more in the mic.
I say I keep going back to this timid and dependent, but I don't know.
Timid, independent?
And dependent, not independent.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Elaborate on that a little bit.
I don't know. I feel like I'm gonna have to read on a little bit and it's gonna come up because I don't know why. I don't know if it's you or someone around you. And that's the thing about this.
It's around me because, like, you know what I told you, when we speak on as far as the family wise, you know what I'm saying? That's what it is. And that's 1000% because not speaking in too much and not really like digging into the personal because that's not what I do.
Gotcha.
Yeah, 1000% because I've allowed it to get to where it's pulling me down. You know what I'm saying? Even to where the other children have realized and they're like, hey, yo, this love been draining you for like 2 years. Wake up. So I agree, and that's 1000% correct as well. But that's another topic for another day.
Okay. So today we'll be all about you. You know what I mean? So tomorrow we can be about that other stuff.
27 hours and we don't got time for
I know that's right. Okay. So the next one is the heart chakra, and it's going to do exactly what it says it does. So I'm going to tell you where you're going, what's going on with your heart, and then like I said, it connects to certain parts of your body as well, which makes sense as your heart, your breathing, your arms, your hands. So if I get some vibe about you having some kind of issues, some pain issues there, I will also let you know. All right, you got any questions? All right. I feel like we might get a little bit of spin. And you know what? I probably shouldn't have said that. Listen, I was getting ready to say, I probably shouldn't have said that because that's bad luck. Every time I say that, it never spins. It's always so sad, I swear to you. Oh, God, it just turns out so terrible for him. I'm like, oh, my God. I shouldn't have said that. Like, hey, see? That's how you know it ain't me, because I be guessing wrong all the time. Oh, man. We're going to get a little spin. It'll be straight still. Embarrassing my family. Crazy talk. All right, here we go. Here goes your heart. It wiggling. So I guess that's something. All right.
Something.
Yup. That means it still got life. So even the wiggle means it's still working for you.
Well, that's great. We'll go with
Yeah,
that.
you right. See, don't I sound so optimistic? No, you hear me? Listen, it don't matter making you believe in yourself. You hear me? You know me. I'm taking it back to middle school. I'm making you feel like I hope tomorrow will bring a better you. I want my type of camel, yeah. Oh, you
You have me ugly crying.
crazy. Yeah. Listen, hey, that's what you weren't expecting. It's gonna be an emotional roller coaster. I should have told
That's
you.
what I told you. I said I'm gonna give you free reign, but I'm gonna bring my shade.
Yeah, we did a little bit of everything, technology problems and everything. Oh my God, yeah, it's been, yeah. Yes. I'm gonna have to set up a little better next time so I see y'all coming in, I see the viewers.
Did what it was supposed to do.
Yeah, I see. I can't interact with you because the screen's so tiny, but I'm gonna do better next time. All right, so girl, you got some entitlement, you got some jealousy, you got some feelings of unlove, you got some uncertainty. Yeah, you got something going on with rejection. And when I look at this, it says fear of rejection, but I don't necessarily think you afraid of rejection in the sense of putting yourself out there, like as far as dating. But I do kind of think, okay, I think you may be one of
Going back
those.
to the family thing.
No, hold on, wait a minute, hold on. I do think you might be one of those people, which it probably does go back to the family thing, that has internalized some of your dating experiences as rejection. And I say it may go back to the family thing to agree with you because we don't really acknowledge how much of our dating choices is based on our familiar experiences. So some of your dating choices were based on the experiences that you had in your family. So yeah. So I think that's where your rejection stuff going on. And I think I do want to talk about the entitlement because it actually came up earlier when we talked about, I think it was your crown, and we were talking about the perfection. You know what I mean? And you said that you want, like, you've gone through all these things that it should necessarily be, you know what I mean, be happening a certain sense, perfect, happening perfect. That right there it resembles entitlement. And when it shows up in your energy, it is that type of vibe where because you've experienced a lot, you feel like you deserve a certain something, whatever that something may be. You know what I mean? And you really do, to help balance your energy, you do know deserving is not necessarily based on experience. You know what I mean? And you could think about that in life. It's people who've been singing for 40 years that are very deserving, and I can get out here and sing tomorrow and make a brand new record and blow up. So deserving is not necessarily based on your experiences. It's really based on how you position yourself and the sacrifices you're willing to take, and new friends who you connect yourself to. And when you start thinking about new friends bring new experiences. New experiences bring new opportunities. So that's how you get the opportunity to get the things that you think you deserve. And you don't have to feel like because you're experienced, you should have it. And it's funny because I think about that. This one shows up in work environments all the time. I remember I interviewed a woman who had worked at her job for, as a matter of fact, I've been able to steal a lot of employees because they feel like they've worked at their job for 15 years and they deserve this position or this experience, and they haven't gotten it. Because it goes back again to deserving ain't based on experience. So let me think which one I want to talk to you about. I do kind of want to. We talked about the entitlement. I want to kind of visit this unloved thing, and as we're talking, I feel like you do got some issues going on with feelings of giving too much. Like maybe you've given too much of yourself in the past, or you've been too forgiving. But I do want to address some of these feelings of this energy, because I don't know if it's your feelings of unloved. Does that touch you? Does that speak to you in any way?
I think several. I spoke on it earlier about like with my mom. We're kind of a little better with that, but also, as far as like with the thing, and I've been trying not to speak on it, but okay, you keep on pulling it up.
I'm not. You see, that means it's showing in every part of your body if it keep coming up.
That's what's been like. Listen, okay, and I've been trying not to do this because whatever, but here we are.
Here we are.
So, like the kids once again. So I have my daughter, and she has my grandchild, and things are not like as perfect as I would love them to be.
Of course.
So that has, a lot of it. Because, as a parent, you want your child to be the same type of parent or better. You know what I'm saying? I want you to be better than me. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, when things aren't as perfect, you like go a little harder because, you want them to be, but it's not your battle. And that's what I'm learning through life, that I have to back up, and not try to like put on my case every day, because that's what I try to do so much. Like I want to just fix everything and make everything like smooth and stress free, but I'm learning that I can't, and this is the child that has shown me that I can't. So that's why it's picking up so much, because that is so much of me and so much of my energy and so much of a lot. It's my first grandchild.
Right.
It's my first daughter. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, 1,000% on point.
So, one thing that I want you, and it's one thing that you probably gonna have to spend some time off camera thinking about it. It's a simple question, but the answer, I want you to think about it. Once you come up with an answer, think about that answer. Your third answer is going to be the right one. But why do you feel it's your responsibility to do all of these things? So
and I can do that for my first, second, and third, because you want it so bad for your kids not to fail. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like it's my responsibility to make sure that my kids don't fail. So I throw them on my back with life and bills and job feelings, and you know what I'm saying? Just because I don't want them to fail, but life is showing me that okay, you gotta let them be them, and you gotta step back. So I'm learning that like mentally. Like you gotta step back, because this is one of the hardest things that I've ever had to do, is step back as a parent.
I'm gonna tell you a story. I learned this from the most unthought of places, but it was a dating experience. I was had a girlfriend. We had a long term relationship, and now we're at the point where we're separated. And I'm one of those people that if I love and I care for you, man, I will drive you crazy and me crazy trying to protect you from making mistakes. If I know it, you know what I mean? I will drive everybody crazy trying to avoid that mistake. And I remember while we were breaking up, we were having a conversation, and she said something to me. She said a couple of things to me that I would never forget, but this is one that struck to the core of who I am, and I'm saying it to you because it might be useful to you. She looked at me and she said, "Listen, you're going to have to let me make my own mistakes." She's like, "I know you love me, and I know you want to protect me, but you gotta let me make my own mistakes." And as a parent, that is very difficult to do. But you know you have to because you were once a child. And if your parent doesn't let you, what did you do when your parent didn't let you make your mistakes? Okay, exactly. So you have to step back, and that's not easy, but you take it one day at a time. Just for today, I'm going to let go of worry. And you put the pressure on the things that you can control, but you cannot protect everyone, and you cannot protect them from everything, especially your kids. So, yeah.
Agreed. Yeah.
And it's giving too much. It might revolve. I feel like, although we talking about it as it relates to your family, I feel like that's probably the pertinent issues. But after we get off this live, you're gonna think about it some more, and you're gonna think about how it relates into other in your dating, in your work life, in your social life, how these things that are coming up are shown in other aspects of your life. And I'm saying this because I keep going back to this one, the thoughts of giving too much. And I know if we talk about it, it's going to be as it relates to your family dynamic. You know what I mean? And all of those conversations will be true. You do have to find a balance. You do have to find a balance on how you give.
Like, it's my family, it's my friends, if it's somebody I care deeply for, I go hard. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know, it's like, I'm just, whatever you act like, I'm there. But that's just me, because I feel like I ain't had nobody like this go hard for me. So, like, the people that are close to me, like, whatever, I'm there. You know what I'm saying? But that's just, you know.
Okay, so then I got
Just
another.
the
I got
bad
a.
history and not trying to do that. So it's like I be trying to be different, but I'm like killing myself in the process.
Okay, so I got another homework question for you.
Okay, okay.
So, how do you decide who's deserving of that energy? Because remember, you only got 8 pieces. So, everybody around you can't get a piece. And you need 3 for yourself. So, you only got 5. Work gonna take 1. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, how do you decide who's deserving of that energy? But also, as you thinking about the giving too much, I do need you to think about it romantically. Um, I think you are having. I said it earlier, but I think you are having some issues with when it comes to dating that you felt like you've given too much, and I feel like in some aspects you don't do things you used to do anymore. Um, but you should. You just got to work on that second homework question. How do you decide who's worthy of that energy? You don't suppress yourself. You're a giver. That's who you are. You can't stop being who you are. But you can choose who you give to. So don't ever stop being who you are. You got me? So, and I know we ain't talked about that one, but you gonna think about that one. So I expect the we will talk about it in some because I know that one was right. I know that one was right. Okay. So the next one is the solar plexus, and it is pretty much like your stomach region. And as wild as it is, if you have, it'll tell me stuff like, excuse me, it'll tell me stuff like if you have gas or weirdo problems like that. Yeah, it'll tell me your stomach stuff going on for real, for
It
real.
seems like I guess.
Yeah, yeah, I like yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Cause it'll hit me. I'll be sitting over here like, man, I know you got gas, cause my stomach over here dancing. I said it on some live. I'm like, I don't know which one of y'all got stomach problems, but I'm over here flipping. So it's easier with you because you the only one I'm reading tonight, right? Well, there'd be three people I'm supposed to read. I don't know who's who. I'm like, all right, but one of y'all tripping. Like the last live, I know somebody needed to cry. You know what I mean?
It was
And
her because I wanted to hug her to be like, I love
listen,
it because I felt like it was so much that she wanted to be like, oh, okay, I want to speak on that, but she didn't. So like, I was like,
listen.
okay, I'm gonna be in this all open. Don't ask me nothing, and let me know when I can go hug her
Hey,
because I love her to death.
I,
And you
I
know what I'm saying?
I told her you encourage. I mean, she encouraged you to come on this one, but I know one of those people needed to cry because I was in here. Man, I was on my Tracy Chapman. I was feeling sad walking around, ready to cry. I was like, I don't know why I'm about to cry, but all right. So
You
here we
already
go.
knew what it was. That's why I said when I grab them shades, you already know what it is. But I'm like, let me
So,
see who's coming over my shades
it,
so I
it,
can get it.
it really it hadn't even been that bad, really. You know what I mean? You
But you
get,
know, when you talk about emotional stuff that you don't really talk about like that, yeah,
yeah.
it gets serious because I may seem like I'm a little thug,
Nah.
but I'm pretty emotionally
So I'm part time thugging. You know what I mean? I got at least 20 hours a week.
we're set for it too.
Like the other 20 hours, I like to be tender. Okay. So, yeah, here we go. Then we'll get your solar plexus. Let's see what's happening. All right, we need some spin going. We ain't had no spin in a while, girl.
Oh no. That one didn't even move. Okay,
It's
look at it.
trying. I told you, little spin better. You know what I mean? Your crown, hey, your crown is. Listen, looking at all these other ones should make you appreciate your crown a little bit more.
Yeah.
So give yourself credit. Your mind on right. You hear me? Give
I'll
yourself
take
credit.
that. I'll take
Yeah.
that.
You like everything else might be messed up, but you know what I mean? Listen, hey, I took this thing before I start telling you what I took this thing called Clifton Strength Finders. And one of the things that it says is you get more value out of working on your strengths than working on your weaknesses. You can work on your weaknesses 20 years and it'll only grow a little bit. And then of course they did research and all this crap. But it is, you like, but if you keep working on your strengths, the value that working on your strengths add to your life is tremendous. So that's why I said make sure you pat yourself on the back because your mind on right. But like, don't let nobody second guess you. Like, I done seen it. Like, you heard? I done seen it live and direct. My mind on straight. Can't nobody tell me, man. You hear me?
That's why I be taking my intuition be on
Yeah. So that means you gotta stop second guessing it. You heard?
Yeah.
Because it's working. Okay.
Yeah.
So you got some esteem issues going on. You got some procrastination going on. You being a little too judgmental on something. Um, yeah. You got something that you've been a little critical on, and a little bit of a bully too. You got some feelings of not knowing what to do. And as a matter of fact, I feel like those feelings of not knowing what to do are influencing your bully, your You're bully, you're critical, and you're judgmental.
Yeah, because when you feel like you cornered, it's like I don't know what to do, you know. So I'm cornered, so I'm turned into a mean person because that's my defense. But it's just like I'm turning into all these people because I don't know what to do. When you throw them with a situation, when you try to do so much and it's still coming back at you and you don't know what to do, it's like, okay, I'm trying to be mean, I'm trying to be nice, I'm trying to do all this, and it still ain't working, so what am I supposed to do? So, yeah, yeah.
That's when you consider their thoughts and you consider everything that's going on, but you do what's best for you. And although I said that simply and it sounds simply, that is a difficult thing to do. So yeah, but yeah, sometimes doing what's best for you is take tough choices. You know what I mean? But when you don't know what to do what's best for you. And if you don't know what's best for you, take the time to figure that out. And that would be the best thing for you. So by default, you'd be doing it. Now I do want to talk about your esteem problems.
My what
Um,
now?
your esteem problems.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, I feel like this esteem thing comes from what you said, your family. But I feel like right around 14. And I always like to do standard deviations. So if I say 14, standard deviation is plus or minus 2 years. So it might have been 12 or 16. But something around 14 happened to you that changed the way you view yourself. And you have allowed it to define you, and it has affected everything you do.
So listen here, Mr. Cleo, who know the way. So you are 1,000% correct with that. But you're a little bit off with the years. It was a little younger. And so, with not speaking on it too much, I had a family member who was very close to me to do some very off the
Inappropriate
wall,
things.
disrespectful, out of line. And me personally, I didn't know how to deal with it. So at that age, I thought like, well, if I tell my mom, you know what I'm saying, she's not gonna believe me. If I tell my sister, you know what I'm saying. So yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay,
Correct
so
on that again. Just the age was a little off, but
okay,
yeah. And it
so
does because it kind of had me like a little, it makes me question things a little more because that was someone that was very close to my family, not necessarily me because I was a little younger,
gotcha.
but close to my family. So yeah, yeah.
So okay, like I said, it definitely has changed the way you perceive yourself. So now, what came to me as you were talking was your idea of perfection stems from your idea of protection. So you really do think this idea of perfection, whatever that is going to protect from situations, environments, or maybe not necessarily that experience, but ever feeling like what that experience made you feel.
Yeah, because I couldn't, I guess,
Uh-oh.
stay myself. And so I know how I felt, so I don't like necessarily want anybody to ever feel like that because I know I went through that for like a while, going through it by myself. So like I just be trying to, be there for everybody else, not necessarily thinking about myself just because I know how I felt back then, and I felt like I was just by myself and I didn't have nobody else to talk to about it because nobody would understand me or nobody would necessarily feel me. Because if you ain't never been through that, then you wouldn't understand. to me, then what makes you as a stranger not be able to do something like this? So it took me to like talk about it to my mama, because like for years and years I never spoke on it because I didn't know. I didn't think like ain't nobody gonna believe me. You know what I'm saying? I'm a kid, you know. So once I spoke on it, you know, it kind of made it a little better, but you know, not necessarily. So like I just tried to just make nobody else feel like that. You know what I'm saying?
So I know I probably said it to you, but I think it's the perfect time to say this now. I think this is why I appreciate Reiki and that process I went through with the energy, and why I'm doing this energy healing and things of that nature. Because I did do therapy. I did it a couple of times. And I guess therapy works for those it works for, but it's not for everybody. And for me, I found out it really wasn't necessarily for me because it wasn't giving me what I needed. What therapy did give me was an opportunity to talk about things. I got good relationships, I got good friends. I can find some place to talk about it. Then, if I had a good therapist, they would give me tools to cope with whatever I was dealing with. You know what I mean? But now I'm still carrying it the rest of my life. And this energy thing and that Reiki thing, what it helped me do was, excuse me, it gave me an opportunity to be able to get that energy off of me. So I would no longer have that burden or that whatever it was that was keeping me from being balanced. It allowed me to not have to, for lack of better words, have to bear my own cross. I got to put that cross down. So
Yeah.
I think at
And
some
it's
point,
good that you were able to do that and have therapy to do that, because it's millions of us who were unfortunate enough to be able to speak to somebody about it. So we kind of had to just deal with it and keep on moving. So like
let me tell you
that's
something.
why
I
I'm
let me
very
let
happy
me
to speak on this, because you know a lot of times we don't get to speak on stuff. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times in life, you just gotta deal with stuff and just eat it up and keep on going, because
right.
that's just what we're trained to do: eat it up and keep on going instead of dealing with it. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
So now let me say this. When I said I went to therapy, please believe I was old. I'm 44 now. So my second time was probably like last year, the year before, to make sure I wasn't
Oh,
tripping.
okay, okay.
But like it wasn't like I like nah, I was carrying them burdens. You heard? See, nope. That's why I'm telling you this worked so well for me. I just did that, dude. Oh hell no. Listen, last year I tried, man. I felt like dude was trying to take me through a 12-step program. I'm like, bro, I ain't in here trying to get off crack, bro. I just want to deal with whatever's going on internally. He was like, so how long did you smoke crack? I don't, man. Damn. Like without you hear me do it expeditiously. Like boy, I'm like hell no. I quit that thing so damn fast. I was like, I just take my chances out here living wild like the rest of these people. Who needs healing? It's for suckers. You feel me? But I say all that to say, you know what I mean? Therapy may not be for you. You know what I mean? And what I can say is this energy stuff is for you. So I think you should take some time to dive a little bit more. You know what I mean? Like I told you, I do Reiki, so it's laying hands. I got some plant ceremonies and stuff that can help you purge some of the stuff because you need to get that stuff out of you. You know what I mean?
I agree, and I prefer this sitting over a therapy, sitting in with somebody who don't know nothing about me, or it's just here you go. I'm gonna just ask some questions and give you some medicine or some craziness.
Right.
Like I prefer it. It's more personal. That's why I was like, you know what? I don't know what this means, but I'm gonna roll with it. You
There
know what
you
I'm saying?
go. There you
And
go.
even when I ain't hear from you, I was like, oh man, I might have been able to get out of this, and I was
Nah,
like,
wrong. Wrong. I was being lazy this week. Oh no. Ain't no get out of this. Lo
yeah, I was
siento.
trying. I knew it was gonna be great, but I was like, man, maybe I ain't gotta be vulnerable. Maybe I can just be great and I ain't
Oh
talking
my
about nothing.
God, you doing fantastic. You do it as well as we said you would, even with the the little technology issues we had. You did a fantastic job. But I say that again.
I had to throw on the
Yeah,
stomach.
no doubt. But I say that again, you know what I mean? I got some friends, I can point you in the right direction. You know what I mean? I offer you some of our healing services because I'm invested in. You know what I mean? I do know you, and I've known you since you was a kid. You carried that. I ain't know what it was, but now I know what it is. You know what I mean? So I want to be able to help you get rid of that because I know you've at least carried that since I've known you since you probably was 18, 19. So, and you always had this jittery type of energy. And I was like, why is she always so jittery? Why she got this jittery energy? But that's what it was. You know what I mean? So like I was saying, now I'm 44, and the experiences I can put a label to it, but I do want to be able to get that to you. But we'll talk about that later. Okay, so the next one is we almost done. We got two more left. So we on your so we on your sacral. Now that, for lack of better reason, it's your lower abdomen, and it does cover your genital area. And a lot of times it is very much connected to your heart. So yeah, if we ain't get much action in your heart, I don't expect much action in your sacral chakra either. But who knows? You might fool us. You might. You hear me? Hey, who knows? And sometimes it makes me give inappropriate advice. So you know what I mean? Because stuff comes up. It will. Yes, sometimes it does tell me about your sex life. So, you know what I mean? Good, bad, or indifferent. It tells me all about it.
Oh well.
Right, so alright, here we go. Here we go. The world's about to know. With your business in the streets. Here we go. Hold on. Make sure. We got a little spin. It got the second best spin, so I'll give you that out of everything. So, but it's still under. It's still under. But yeah, that means you're doing something your heart ain't connected to fully. That's all that means. Yeah. Don't laugh that hard. Don't laugh that hard. Girl, you better deny yourself them heart connections. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, because if you do, you wind up. Yeah, okay, here we go. Let's see. Let me go back to what we. Okay, so you got some craving going on. I don't know what you craving. I don't know. You got a little bit of guilt somewhere. Surprisingly, you got a little shyness. And the funny thing about this shyness is, I think it shows up specifically with what you want. And for my best example that I can give is a dating example. So, like, it strikes me as an energy that it would be the type of person that, let's say you've seen a dude that you thought was fantastic for you. You tell yourself that you're probably not his type. And that allows you to be a little shy because you're not shy, you know what I mean? So you'll talk to somebody, you'll introduce yourself, but I think that shyness shows up when it comes to what you really want. Yeah, I think that goes back to your self-esteem too. Actually, as a matter of fact, I think those two are tied together.
I think go back to the overthinking a lot, because I be like overthinking myself out a lot of craziness. is.
Valid.
Like, yeah.
So they will connect to a lot of different things. So the reason why I say self-esteem is because I feel like also you be one of those people that feel like you don't deserve that type of love. You know what I mean? So you settle for the like love that you think you deserve, not the love that you want. You know what I mean? And that's weird. So
I don't. I think it's the opposite. I think I be feeling like I deserve more than I get. So I'm quick to be like, okay, you know what, whatever. If this ain't what I feel like I deserve, then I'll back up. You know what I'm saying? As opposed to sitting and dealing and dealing and dealing, I maybe back up, maybe sometimes a little sooner than I need to.
okay, well, there you go. I knew you was gonna get. I knew we was about to circle around to the problem with
You know what I'm saying? So
that.
yeah.
I knew we was about to circle around to the problem with that. I might do it a little too soon sometimes. Okay, well there you go. You solved your own problem.
Yeah.
That is the downside of
Hey, we
that.
keep it real around these folks
Right.
up here.
That's the downside of that. You know what I mean? And like I said, when it comes to the intuition and the thought process, if you off, your picker gonna be off. You know what I mean? So and it's funny because you pretty much, even though it's worded a little bit differently, we said the same thing. You know what I mean? You just
I
said
mean,
it.
well, okay.
You said it in your flavor. And no, no, you said it. You said it right because one of the things that should happen through these exchanges is I say stuff and you can say it in your own way, or you say stuff and I can say it in another way, so that we both
But
are giving the
you were
people.
saying it more that I didn't deserve it, and I felt like, oh, I
No,
didn't deserve this, but I felt like I deserve more.
yeah,
That's what I was saying. Like,
but
maybe I feel like you wasn't giving what it was supposed to give.
and you do, but you settle. You don't settle for that. That's not what you settle for.
Yeah.
You don't settle for what you deserve.
Okay.
Yes. Sometimes I'll let you have that, and sometimes it's good. That's why we know we pat ourselves on the back. You know what I mean? On the round of applause.
Don't do that.
Yeah, we just say we used to do it training to people. What was it? GOODJOB. Good job. Good job. Hold on, I got music. Hold on, here we go. I forgot I got a little sound pad. I might got a little music for you. Hold on, here we go. It say joyful. You heard that?
That's the first music I ever heard that you don't play.
Yeah. Yeah, I had the sound effects ready for you, Shiny. Hey, one more thing since I'm on here tripping. I don't forgot we live now. No, let me stop messing with this while it's working before I get that weird echo thing going on. And we almost done. Yeah. So you're gonna have to take some time to work on some of these things and give yourself some grace. Um, one, I don't know. I think it's a little bit of both. But I can't move on to your last one until I say something about the energy of manipulation around you. And I feel like it's coming from both directions, where someone is trying to manipulate you.
Man,
And
what? Listen, this the realest thing you done said this entire thing.
but
And
you can try
go
to
listen to
manipulate
it
somebody else
again.
too.
Oh, listen. And it's because they know the type of person that I am. So you manipulate me and try to use me and be like, oh, well, we ain't gonna speak on it, but you listen. I think you should be psychic, Mr. Cleo.
I don't know. This your energy, girl.
Yeah.
Tell you, I don't know if you need a daytime or quit your job.
Okay, but you can't play a player, yo. I'm a step ahead of you. You know what I'm saying? Especially the younger generation. You can't be playing, you know what I'm saying? But, be trying so hard. But you right. You right.
So yeah, you definitely got to do something with that
Oh my
energy.
goodness. Wow. Okay.
You definitely hold on. You keep disappearing out the live. I'm about to bring you back. Here we go. Yeah, you definitely got to do something with that energy
I've been
because
trying to cut it. I've been trying to cut it, but it's hard to cut
maybe it ain't an
because
energy, okay? Because maybe you're not supposed to cut it. Maybe you're supposed to handle it
yeah,
differently.
I'm not supposed to, but I'm also not supposed to be dragged into the ground because of it.
Okay,
So
so
what do you do
definitely.
there?
Now that's your homework. You got to figure out the
I'll let
balance.
you figure
Whoa, hold on, I told you, I don't got answers. I got questions. You hear me? You got the answers. You hear me? You just said that's one of the things you appreciate. Listen, I don't even tell people what to do. No, I don't know what you should do. Child, you asked me, I made the wrong choice last time I had to make that decision. You hear me? So I don't know what to tell you. Straight up like that. You heard? I just told you I had a girlfriend breaking up with me telling me, you better let me make my mistakes so I'm out here messing up like everybody else. So I don't know. Taking my L's like a champ, you dig? Quietly. True story, so yeah. Don't get no answers from me, y'all. Lo siento. None. True story. Okay, so then we're gonna do the last one is your root chakra. It's gonna tell me if you're feeling grounded, and and then if you got some, it's connect to your kidneys and your feet and stuff like that. So yeah, I'll tell you if you. It's funny how much your sex life shows up in your root chakra too.
That's crazy.
Right. So, she was gone. But I already said, you know what I mean? Last time I did this, I said, whatever you do, your heart ain't connected to, so stop that. So, cut that out.
Here we are. Yeah.
Right, I mean, what? Okay, so for real, why? You know what I mean? Like, for real. Like, you know what I mean?
Wait, what is the question? What are you
No,
asking? Why what?
whatever you doing that your heart ain't connected to, like why even do it if your heart ain't in it? We old, life too short, you know what I mean? It ain't even worth that level of energy. Your heart can't be in it, fuck it. That's your intuition letting you know, hey, maybe I shouldn't be here. For real.
Yeah,
For
yeah.
real, but that's the thing. We suppress our heart. That's the one thing. Like we don't want to listen to our heart, but sometimes our heart ain't
Yeah, because
wrong.
you don't want to hurt. When your heart has been hurt a certain way, you don't want to feel like that no more. You know what I'm saying? So whatever you got to do to shield the heart, you do that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and you know what's ironic about that is it's funny because I always said the thing because I call them walls, our protective walls. The things about walls, they don't let nobody see in, but they don't let you see out. They really
That's
don't.
true.
They don't protect you from the hurt. They just create a new hurt. You hear me? So now you don't got the hurt of relationships. You got the hurt of loneliness. What the hell? That shit don't feel no better. You hear me? And that's what they ain't tell you. That don't feel no better. I've been lonely 13 years. Oh, congratulations. Because that's
Yeah,
against human nature.
sometimes when you
Yes.
have really been broken and scarred, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes the peace of knowing that you don't got to worry about that no more, is far more satisfying than saying, oh yeah, I've been by myself for however long because you
Yeah.
know that how long it took you to heal from that BS.
No doubt.
So.
And being able to recognize that is good. But again, you remember how I said you don't let the experience change who you are. You just pick differently. You know what I mean? So it is good that you won't have to. There is a lot of comfort in the peace of not having to worry about that. But you also can get in an interaction where you don't have to worry about that. You know what I mean? There's always other options. Like, I just won't pick nobody like that anymore. Like, 'cause that's not gonna
Yeah,
work.
big facts, big facts.
Right. Like, 'cause we humans, we still need you know what I mean? We need the one-to-one bonding. You know what I mean? We need the group
Yeah,
bonding. We need the social bonding. We humans. It does change us. All right. Here we go. Let's see what your root doing. This is the amethyst. And one is my birthstone, so I like that. I'm a Pisces, so of course Pisces is February, and it's funny, true story. So when I went on my little spiritual trip, it taught me the colors of my life, and one of so the colors also relate to chakras as well too, and this is purple is the third eye. It's your intuitive chakra. But anyway, when I went on my little spiritual trip, it showed me the colors of my life, and it told me I need to relate. One of the ways that I'm gonna heal people is their pain, and purple represented my pain. You know what I mean? So I work with pain. I'll be able to work on. That's why I could find the pain. It was my gift. And then the other one was that royal blue, and that was my rage, anger, and passion. And it told me that I needed to connect more to that. So I also can find the anger and rage in people. So my skills and my abilities for the most part is to be able to help people with their pain and their anger. And those are two things that I carried. I carried for a long time. So I'm an expert at pain and anger. As a matter of fact, when I went through this Reiki process, I was talking to my mama. And I was like, Ma, it just showed me I was an angry person. She just sit there and nodded like, yeah, you was an angry kid. I was an angry kid. And you know me from college. And if you think about it, I was an angry kid. It just didn't always seem like that because I wasn't out there being mean. I wasn't a mean person. You know what I mean?
Because you put in the different stuff.
Yeah, I wasn't.
You tell different ways because I was as well.
Yep.
But you couldn't tell I was angry.
Yeah, I was an angry man. For real. So this is why your pain is coming up a little bit more because you're working with amethyst. Amethyst also has protective factors, so I want to make sure we shield it while we're doing this work. So don't nobody else energy get in, so just yours. All right, here we go. Let's see what your root doing for you. Make sure. Okay, it got a little spin, but it'll get off track. So it's working. I feel like maybe you at the beginning of trying to get grounded again, but it's still a little off. Yeah, you got some cunning going in, and you literally the first person that I've ever read their energy and cunning. I'm like, God dang. Like, I feel like we got to Google what that means. Cat out is being cunning. Yeah, you being bossy. You frustrated. You not feeling centered, which makes sense. That's one of the reasons why you were okay with doing this. Why you keep disappearing? What's going on with the live? Hello? Uh-oh. Okay, you still there. Okay, there you go.
Yeah. I went out for a second. I'm here.
There you go. Okay, cool. Here we go. Now we got you back. Yeah, we're going to talk about that cunning. I'm going to go through the rest of them. So you being bossy. You're not trusting right now at all. And as a matter of fact, I want to say something specifically like that because it's not necessarily trusting people. It's trusting yourself in the process. Whatever you're going through, you done been here before. So I'm not sure why you're not trusting how it's going to turn out. You know what I mean? Yeah, we already talked about that love, the feelings of unloved things, so we ain't gonna do that. And you do got something. Okay, so I look at this word, it says sexually inadequate. I don't think that's the quite correct verbiage for it, but you definitely got something going on with your sexuality and how you feel about it. I don't know. Yeah, I don't think it's inadequate, but it's something that I can't even find the words for. But it's something.
Well, maybe because not sexually wise, but as far as like, okay, so like I work out a little bit because I be trying to like once again the mentally perfection that we have, like as far as my body. So like I'm a little slim, my belly's a little bigger than it should be normally. So I work out and I have this, ideal in my head, and I like kind of go a little hard for that because it's like, dang, So yeah, yeah. Once
So
again.
you feel like you having some issues of inadequacy. Okay, cool.
I think because like when I put my little fits on, if I ain't getting my little jogging and my little ain't looking as tight as it should, yeah, I feel some type of way. You know what I'm saying? That's why I do work out because I'm like, okay, I gotta get this right to where I'm. So I agree.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now I'm gonna ask you a question. So do you think the way you feel about that affects you in the bedroom? Like when it's
Oh,
time
I
to.
don't think so.
Okay, no, I don't mean performance. I mean perception. Like, are you worried? You say no.
No, I don't
Okay,
think
good,
so.
good, 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 good. So it's the inadequacy. You just feeling inadequate around your belly reason.
It's a
Gotcha.
personal because even people don't look at me like I look at me. You're your own hardest critic.
Of course,
So
of course.
when I be speaking about people who I speak on myself to people like who are close to me, and they be like, oh, don't worry about it.
Right.
But it's just me personally. You know
Of
what I'm
course,
saying?
of course. Now this cunning, it sounds fun, but I realize it probably ties back into that manipulation thing you got going on. So to be manipulative, you gotta be a little cunning too. But it's keeping you from feeling grounded and balanced. So you really got to let go of that energy. And like you said, it might not. It does. It seems like it's not an energy that you can easily let go. You definitely have to figure out a new way to deal with it. That you don't have to be this person. You feel me? Yeah, because that's not. And when you think about who you are as a person, I'm sure that's not how you want to describe yourself. Or would you want somebody to describe you regardless of the situation? You know what I mean? Because again, one of the things I always tell people, I think that's one of our greatest challenges is to go through trials and tribulations in life and remain true to who we are, not letting the situations change us, but we change how we approach the situations. You know what I mean? So for that, that's definitely not
I
in.
think with that, um, I think it's more of everybody think I'm just so amazing and like, oh, you walk around smiling all the time and you're always this because I'm so much for so many people, but not realizing that like, okay, on the inside I go through stuff. I'm
Right.
not always perfect. I'm not always. So yeah.
So okay, when it's time for you to recharge, for lack of better words, or okay, maybe that's not. Maybe that's one of the reasons why you not grounded because you going. It's difficult to answer this question, but when it's time for you to recharge, what do you do? What do you
When
do to
I
give to
recharge,
yourself? And don't say something like, "I get my nails done." I mean
oh
something that
no, I
okay,
drive to
cool.
the beach by myself, no kids, no nothing, and stay there for like 2 days, sit on the beach, let the waves hit my toes, be drunk, and not have to worry about the kids calling my name. Like that's my reset. I don't worry about
Okay,
my phone. I don't worry about nothing. Sometimes it's for 2 days. Sometimes it maybe even one. Cause like I need that. You know what I'm saying? Cause I got so much on my mental that sometimes it take that for me to take that little breeze at the beach and
right.
just to like reset and come back like, oh, okay, hey y'all, like ain't nothing ever happened.
Okay, so now what is another way that you do this quicker? That seems like that takes a little planning. But let's say you need a little reset tomorrow. What can you do tomorrow? What do you do for when you need to reset that quick?
Well, the quickest is just to like go in my room, close it out from everybody, and just like
Okay.
just breathe.
So,
Because, I get a little worked up sometimes with life and everything going on. And I just, like, go to myself, shut it off from everybody, and just take a breather.
all
Take a
right.
second, couple minutes, just to nothing. To nothing.
So the last homework I got for you is you gotta have 5 things that you do for you to recharge you that are quick, not planning. Not like when you go to the beach. You got major things, but I want you to make sure you have enough simple things that you can do to recharge yourself in the moment. And you may have
Is
to.
wine okay? So does wine work? My glass of wine?
Yeah, okay, that's
Does that
one.
work?
And scientifically, they said a glass of wine a day is good for your blood. Will keep
Hey,
calms
cheers to
down heart
you.
attacks. You know what I mean? They even say you can drink one drink a day and you still won't be an alcoholic. I was like, well, that sounds like an alcoholic. I don't know,
Man,
drinking
literally
every
one
day,
drink a
but
day
that's
feels
what the doctor say.
amazing.
One drink a day. I say make it count. Take a shot to the head. Pow. It's good for your body. That's what the doctors say. Please look that up, people, because I don't be making stuff up. It be real stuff. For real, I did the math for that. I was like, dang, because I gotta cut back. These are 6 drinks a day. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, so once you get those 5 things are definitely going to help you balance your energy. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna change it. I'm gonna say do 7, and I'm gonna inbox you the picture of the chakras. Do one activity to balance that recharges each one of those energy points. One for your mind, one for your intuition, one for your throat, one for your heart. As a matter of fact, yeah, do 2 for your heart. So now you got 8. That poor baby needs some help. No, it's not. Your heart was sitting there like, okay, we can read it again. Here we go. It ain't gonna change. Here we go. Here, I'll show you again. We gonna prove it. It ain't gonna change. Now you gonna know it's gonna, it's just still gonna be closed. That's your heart. But
Nah,
no,
you
no.
encouraging him though.
Let me
But
show.
anyway,
Let me show the people. Let me show how cold that thing is one more time. Sheesh.
but
Okay.
thank you for this though. All jokes aside,
No doubt.
I thank you for this because for me, this is better than the therapy that I may need. You know what
I
I'm
know that's
saying?
right.
Being able to speak on things that I don't normally speak on. So I appreciate you for this.
No
And
doubt.
explaining me because I was like, man, I don't know, I kind of want it, but I don't want it.
Hey, listen. Hey, and you are not alone because someone says that to me every time. I listen. I'm going to tell you how many people have reached out to me because of you. You know what I mean? Just like someone encouraged you last week, you did such a fantastic job. I know you've encouraged other people because it is scary. You don't know if, like, even if you're skeptical, you still skeptical to the point. But what if it does work? And what if they do hit something I don't want anybody to know? You know what I mean? So there's always that part of skepticism. But seeing somebody face the challenge, somebody they can see themselves in you. I know for a fact you've encouraged somebody. So you did a fantastic job. And like I said earlier, we'll be in contact more because I'm serious. I'm going to offer our services to you because we're going to get you right, girl. You know what I mean? We're going to purge that stuff up out of you. All right. And thank you again, everybody. I appreciate you coming in. We had a couple of viewers. They stayed for a while. We got a lot of comments. Now take some time to read the comments. I'm going to go back and read the comments and talk to everybody. Yeah, let me go out. Oh, I got to do this. Because now, since we're about to wrap it up. Before I wrap it up, I just wanted everybody to hear me sound like this. Because I was doing this all earlier. I had a couple people have me practice with this. Hello? Okay. So I thought about doing the whole live in this voice, but I ain't think it was gonna work. Yeah, I'm like, hey, let me tell you something. Okay, listen, your heart is closed, baby. You hear me? It sounds a little too pimpish. You hear me? It was not gonna work, all right. Okay, baby. Until next time. All right, baby. Yeah. So that was not gonna work. That's what they said. They was like, don't do that. They was like, how about you don't and say you did? Would that be okay? I was like, nah, I got to go balls to the wall. That's why I snuck it in. So thank you, Kat. You let me be a kid too. See, that's one of the things I do to recharge. I sneak in inappropriate jokes whenever I can. So here we go. Good. Thank everybody. We'll do it again. I'll probably have a different setup for next week, but we'll try again next week. And I thank you for spending some time, and I thank you again for sharing with us, Kat. And until next time, everybody, goodbye.